This stream is powered by Melita, using Melita Gigapower Internet. World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
For only €5 a month, experience every high-definition moment on your TV, tablet, phone or PC. Great teams, great moments, and so much more. TSN from Melita is your ticket to stay in the game. Visit melita.com/sports.
Senna was a god. No one could even dream to follow him.
I'm from a very humble background.
The role of women at that time were really difficult.
This is so dangerous. You're risking not only your life, but also my life.
Wish your Wi-Fi network would just work in any room? Our new Stellar Wi-Fi is AI assisted to give you the smoothest, fastest possible Wi-Fi throughout your home. Stellar Wi-Fi, assisted by AI, exclusive to Melita. Find out more in-store or online.
World Pro Racing, where sim racing becomes real.
3 different weeks, 3 different stories, one very interesting looking championship. Just 2 rounds remain, and we are at the Dutch Dunes. We're on holiday here in December 2020, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Zandvoort, round 4 here of your World Pro Racing ACC Sprint Series. And it's here live and uninterrupted on YouTube, on Facebook Live, and on Twitch as well, with motorsport.tv, with ESTV, the Esports Television Network, and with TVM Sport as well. My name's Jake Sperry, joined alongside with Kieran McGinley, as the story of this championship has been the resurgence after rain for Redouane Messaoud. He has been dominating the times up the top. He's been getting himself in all the positions that he needs to. And with back-to-back wins, he now finds himself with a very, very handsome 14-point lead in the championship. It's Jack Noller who's the chasing pack at this moment in time, but some big surprises from names who traditionally, you could say here, Kieran, should be up there and winning.
Well, absolutely. Good evening, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, and wherever you're watching and whenever you're watching, I hope you have a very fantastic stream along with us in the commentary box. Yes, it's been a fantastic time for Redouane Messaoud, and hopefully nothing rains on his parade tonight, at least for him. Dry running in the last 2 races have meant he's able to get the 2 wins back-to-back and pull himself clear at the top of the championship. But as you say, Pierluca Amata, who we expected here to be doing better than he is, a non-points finish last time out at Brands Hatch with that incident going in towards Paddock Hill Bend, really set him backwards in that momentum. And it's a very short season. We've only got here at Zandvoort and then the next round to round off at the Nürburgring. So there's not a lot of time to rectify those mistakes, and he'll be hoping he can get back to the top of the food chain as quickly as possible.
And it is that food chain which becomes the key as drivers try and beat other drivers to gobble up points. And in terms of the words of Qui-Gon Jinn, there's always a bigger fish. And I think that's what I think people are certainly going to be looking to fry for here today. We're about a minute away from heading down to the track and seeing what conditions we have available for us. But if you are brand new to World Pro Racing, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can follow as well up on Twitch also, and give yourself every opportunity to watch more amazing content brought to you by World Pro Racing and the sponsors, of course, which are down below us right now. On top of that, you've got the chance to head over to worldproracing.com if you're looking to try and get yourself into some brand new championships or maybe something else that's coming up on the horizon. Of course, on the 8th, we'll be looking at the team challenge at Bathurst in the Porsches on the Centro Corsa Competizione before the finale to this championship in just 7 days' time. But focus now moves forward, Kieran. Now becomes the question of who has and who has not. There's been 2 different philosophies. Stay with one car or move about from car to car to car. It seems like those near the top of the championship really haven't been changing their car very much.
No, and sometimes the amount of consistency you have with the car, you get to learn it every single week and you get yourself better and better. And you find sometimes there's certain lines and there's certain ways of driving a car that you didn't realize were faster. I mean, Jack Noller here, we're watching in the GT Omega RPM Esports Bentley, just now making his way through Hergenholzbot. And of course, I've tried to brush up on my Dutch. I'm not very good at it, but we'll try and use it as far as possible. But yeah, we come here to Zandvoort, a very narrow circuit, but a circuit with plenty of character, plenty of undulation, and plenty of opportunities to stick it right in that gravel trap. It is a very, very tricky circuit to master. In terms of overtaking, limited opportunities, but not impossible. Can't wait to see how the drivers handle this one today.
Absolutely, and it's very interesting to see who's in what. Jack Noller's jumped into the Bentley here, and top of the timing stands right now on a 34.518 is Hamada Urquizi in the H3 Racing, or the Ashtois Racing a Ferrari at this stage, and he'll be certainly hoping to kick back his season. There's Redouane Messaoud then in the number 1 car at the moment. He's in 21st position right now in the Porsche. He hasn't set a representative lap time as of yet, but here you find one of the pitfalls around this sort of circuit here. So we've got about 15 minutes before we head over towards qualifying right now. One of the pitfalls is this is a circuit that does not have a substantial long straight until the front straight. Other than that, it is very difficult to get around and to get by certain drivers. This is a track that takes cunning and also will need to take skill as well. It is worth noting, just looking by this track layout, this is, of course, the old layout as well as Zandvoort. This was scanned pre the big banking that's gone up, which was supposed to be for the 2020 Formula One season.
Yeah, and it's a shame that we never got to go there for the Formula One race in 2020, but such are these interesting times that we never actually went. Yes, 4.2 kilometres at this moment in time, 2.6 miles that converts to, and the drivers are lapping here in around about 94, 95 seconds. Expect those times to tumble down as the drivers get more and more warmed up in this practice session. There's Kajabo then up to 17th place in the standings on a 37.4, puts him now just on the bubble of that mid-table. Now here's a driver, Sheldon Muscat here, who we are expecting to try and get himself up the table. I mean, he's been improving every single week looking at his standings here. His best result was the last time out at Brands Hatch, but 10th place in the standings, 25 points to his name. He's not actually that far away from his next rival in Hamada Urquizi in 9th place, who went pointless for the second round of this championship at the Circuit de Catalunya. I think I got that one right this time around.
You did.
But yeah, there we go. I got it right. Yay. Yeah, we'll see how Muscat does. I mean, obviously top 15 are the points paying position, so he'll be hoping to get as high up the table as possible. And someone who started this championship with real promise, Jake, Tiziano Brione, showed us how it was done at the first round at Silverstone, and yet since then he's only scored 2 points in his last 2 races.
He's now 41 points behind the lead of the championship with 2 rounds to go. He looked like a Stonewall favourite for this one when it came to the rain. He's got a huge legacy at Musto. He is one of those sim racers which you sit up and take notice when he jumps into a server. But Tiziano Brione completely out of sorts, and it is worth talking about what just happened after the last round of the championship, where we were at Brands Hatch. Because I noticed just after we jumped to highlights and everybody jumped off the air that there was a little bit of a conversation in the steward's room between the chief steward Adrian Fagaio and both Tiziano Brione and Pierluca Amato. I haven't seen Pierluca Amato in session so far. He's got himself about free practice to get himself out there and racing. We've seen a couple drivers jump in late and get themselves into session, like Pierre Metz and Trazzi. They very late jumped into session. But if that's what I think it is, and you can only assume because we weren't privy to the conversation, to be a fly on the wall, I would say Amato wasn't very happy with the fact that he got a penalty last week.
Well, it was one of those, wasn't it, in towards, I believe it was Paddock Hill Bend on the very first lap, if memory serves me well. But that's up to the stewards themselves. It's between them and the stewards for these drivers. So whatever's happened, as you say, Jake, we weren't really a fly on the wall, and at that point we'd only be speculating. But at this moment in time, as you say, Amato is not in this practice session right now. And here is Hamada Urquizi here in the Ashtois Ferrari, going now in towards that tight left-hander, almost like a 180-degree corner almost, and you're then back on yourself, riding on board with Urquizi then, as he now makes his way on towards this flying section now, this flying right-hander, as you now make your way down towards the start-finish line. And of course, we're going for a lap then on board with the Ferrari, heading now down towards Tarzanbocht, braking hard then, trying to get the car turned in. A little bit of trail braking if you need to, as you now try and make your way on the exit there, using plenty of curb on the exit. Quick left before a quick right in Gerlachbocht. And now down the hill we go in towards Hergenholzbocht. Very tight left-hander here, uphill on the exit to try and help your exit speed and try and keep those rear tyres intact. Now making our way through. It should be flat out through this left-hander if you dare, as you now make your way over the Slotmacherbocht as we now head our way in towards Slovak. A little bit of a back end stepping out on Kesey there, just about holding on to that one, showing off there as we head now in towards Mastersbocht. A quick flick left before we dart right in towards that Mastersbocht, and he's going to pull out of this lap, unfortunately, before we got to turn 9. Unfortunate that one, because that looked like it was going to be a hectic lap for sure, but maybe that little bit of a moment into Slovak really has done his lap time in, and it's only practice, so he doesn't need to go full attack just yet. Unfortunately, we didn't get to finish the lap.
Well, we are still here with Red One Messaoud through the Audi S, and then just a couple of corners remain out here on circuit. This has all of the intent, and the owners of this place want to have this track very much like an IndyCar feel. That's part of what they have as a good run. That's why the final corner is known as Arie Luyendyk, the two-time winner, I do believe, of the Indianapolis 500, as Overline Red One Messaoud goes and does jump up on a 34.4, up into second position behind his teammate Hamida Kesey. So Ferrari, Porsche, Bentley at the moment, and that tells you all you need to know. Kesey fastest in the second and third sectors out there on the lap. First sector ever so fractionally in the back pocket of Red One Messaoud at this point in time. 24 drivers looking to get themselves around this circuit here today. But we saw there, going through that Shevak corner, as we see Sheldon Muscat getting it all shades of wrong and finding Armco with huge, copious amounts of oversteer, that this circuit is so difficult. That Shevak corner, we saw no movement of the steering wheel and just letting the car drift through the corner. Such a tough section, underrated up this section of track, because you have to make sure that you hit your braking marker into a fast right-hand corner here, Kieran, where you honestly have to say you need balance in this vehicle when it needs to be so good at getting power down through the exits through these parabolic corners.
You absolutely do, and it's one of those circuits that really does demand of the car. It has those high-speed corners. It needs that mechanical grip as well, so that's where you have to try and think about how much camber angle you need on your tires as well. But it also has those long straights as well, the start-finish straight down towards Tarzanbocht, and then that little short straight out of turn 10 in towards the Audi S as we head our way through here. It's a very, very difficult circuit to get right, but Luke Whitehead we're seeing now tackle in towards Kummerbocht, and now in a way towards the final corner, the Arie Luyendyk Bocht. Through we go then, flat out it seems through there, as you then go change up a gear on the exit, down the start finish straight, and Luke Whitehead in the Luke Whitehead Porsche stays in P5, does improve on his time, but doesn't improve on position. And Hamza Belhassan across the line then in the H3 Audi racing car goes up to P6, 35.3. Now we're expecting then, Jake, if those potential purple lap times, or purple sector times I should say, from the top two go anything by, we should be expecting a low 34, maybe even a high 33 as the potential pole time. So we'll have to keep a close eye on that one as qualifying approaches.
Certainly does. We're about 7 minutes away and a little bit less in terms of time. I'll also give you a hint on your Dutch here, Kieran. Any time that you hear the word bocht, that means turn. So in terms of every turn on this track, it's got bocht on the end of it because it's a turn. And that is grammatically correct. But at this stage of time, there are a few drivers here in practice who do surprise. One of them is the driver in 8th place, and that's Dean Vella. He surprises for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is he has no points in the championship so far. And the second reason is he probably should with his potential and ability.
Oh, absolutely, and he'll be kicking himself that he hasn't scored points so far, so deep into the season. But currently 8th fastest out there in this practice session. Decent signs of a decent haul of points on the board. And in that GT Omega RPM esports car, he now makes his way out onto the track. He knows we're watching him, that's for sure, as he now makes his way out onto the track in the Audi, looking to try and set another lap time on the board. But the fact that he's in the top half of the table, he's well inside the points, encouraging signs to break the duck.
And maybe this is one of those tracks where the Audi does come into its own and does become a car that maybe in terms of the balance of performance checks is one that gets put on the board and does very well. For example, where we saw round one of the championship in wet conditions, we saw a whole boatload of Lexuses have an absolute field day out there on track. The only Lexus out there at the moment who is anywhere is Conchabo, and Conchabo's been running that Lexus all season long, and he's all the way down in 19th place. In fact, I do correct myself, Urbrick, who has been Mr. Consistency all season long, he's in the Lexus today in the 299. He's in 11th place, but maybe this is a track where the Audi does have a little bit more fortune, which favours the people who choose it.
Yeah, and it's always going to be till qualifying till we really know the true potential of these cars. It's a wide variety of cars as they make their way through. There doesn't seem to be a strong car, but there doesn't also necessarily seem to be a weak car of sorts. Every single car that's been brought here seems to have all of its strengths and weaknesses at this very track, which makes them pretty much balancing out. You could argue that the Mercedes are a little bit further down the field. That's the Sheldon Muscat number 14 Mercedes. You could argue there a little bit out of position. We've also got a Nissan in Rassar in 18th place, but I believe he's the only Nissan running in the field, so we're not going to get an idea of how the Nissan could perform, whether that is where it is in the table right now. And we also have the sole McLaren of Plivac, who I believe is yet to set a time in this session. However, it's going to be an interesting one for those sole manufacturer runners, those that have just chosen the one car, and that's the only car in the field of that type. We're talking that McLaren and the Nissan, just to see what they're going to be like. There's a reason why drivers haven't chosen these cars, but there is a reason why those individuals have chosen these certain cars. So it'd be great to see. Oh, big moment there for Plivac. And he's just about kept it out of that Armco, but all the gravel there helped him. But yeah, not good signs for that McLaren. That back end just absolutely let go.
That is called a tank slapper, and when you get one of them, they are impossible to stop because you're trying to counter the balance, the grip that you are losing by the back stepping out, and then the moment you turn, you get grip, you just get all of the grip which gets piled in at once, and then you're speared off in the other direction, and it makes you look very, very foolish when you get on paper, but when you get into one, it is very, very difficult to get out of it unscathed, like, for example, Adam Plivac did, and he's very lucky he hasn't actually collided with that Armco barrier up there at the top. There's Jan-Nicolas Urbrick, though, and this is a driver definitely worth keeping an eye out on here today. He's 5th in the championship. He is the only driver in the entirety of the field so far here, Kieran, who has scored more than 10 points or 10 points or more through the first 3 rounds of the championship. That's why he's 5th.
Well, I mean, that is really consistent in itself, isn't it? That just shows you that he's doing well out there. He's keeping his head, he's keeping his cool, and wherever we go, he seems to have a good amount of pace on him. This is probably the lowest part of practice that he's been in all season, in 11th place. We don't normally see him this far down the table, but he is running in that Lexus there, looking to try and go further up the order. It is only practice. We have just over 2 minutes to go, and it is Hamada Akizi who tops the table in that Ferrari. Messaoud, our championship leader, is in 2nd place, and Tiziano Brioni is in 3rd place. There is Red One Messaoud in the H3 Porsche racing car, the number 1 Porsche, making his way now onwards towards that last section there, which is coming up towards the Audi S, I believe this is. The pretty much a 90 right here before you have to go to that 180 radius left-hander. No real banking on this version of the circuit as we head our way now on towards the final couple of corners, on towards Kumo and then towards Ari Luyendijk as we head our way through. Oh no, gets onto the gravel there, taps the Armco barrier as Tiziano Brioni gives him a wave as he goes through. Oh, runs a little bit wide again. Maybe that earlier off for Messaoud, just maybe put Brioni off a little bit, but both drivers clouting the wall there, and obviously for Messaoud, he went onto that gravel you saw there, tried to use as much of the track as possible, just strayed a little bit too far onto the gravel and has paid the price for that one.
I'll tell you what's interesting there is that hit for Tiziano Brioni invalidated his qualifying lap time, and even with that hit coming over the line, he was on a 34.3, so that would have put him right up there between Urquizy and Messaoud, if not up there at the very, very top, so that's worth keeping in mind. Jimmy Holm had a really, really strong showing last time out. He's a fan favourite of many in the Ferrari with 50 seconds to go. How might he do at the moment here today? 9th position, maybe another race where he's hoping that those in front have dramas on lap 1.
Yeah, you always want to make advantage of any dramas that happen ahead. You never want to wish ill of your rivals, but for Jimmy Holm, he would have been picking up those pieces and getting a well-deserved podium. He didn't have quite the pace to be challenging at the front, but he was well clear of everyone behind him. At the moment, 9th place in the treble 7 or Ferrari. That lovely green livery there as he now makes his way up towards the Audi S. Yeah, obviously he'll want to be on the pace straight away on the back of that podium at Brands Hatch last time out. But let's see where he qualifies, and I think he'll get a much more fairer assessment of where he aims to be during the race.
Practice then comes to a close as we get ourselves then looking towards qualifying in the next couple of moments. Everybody on focus now is looking at maybe Ashtois and going, they have the opportunity to really put themselves up at the very, very top of their potential abilities. But now you start maybe thinking about qualifying, and this is going to be another case very similar to Brands Hatch, where you need a little bit of room and you need that opportunity just to put the good lap together. But this is such a technical circuit. You're going up and down the dunes every which way. The car is having to fight against gravity. It's going to have to fight against off camber, on camber corners. This is a really, really tough circuit, and on paper, everyone thinks that this is the easiest place in the world. It isn't. It's why one of my my predecessors, when I came into commentary, someone called Will Vincent, he absolutely loves this place because this is one of those few circuits, really, Kieran, that you step out and go, it's a challenge no matter how you look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very narrow circuit, lots of elevation, saying it's get the car set up, and then it's getting the driver really acknowledged with the circuit as they make their way through. It is not an easy circuit. It's not one of those circuits you can get out there and just put 3 laps in and that's it. That's your prep done. No, this track needs your attention. It needs your hard work. It wants that challenge brought to you, and you've got to answer that call. Fantastic circuit to race at with all the undulation, and I'm sure when they get the banking into the Arie Luyendyk curve, it'll be even more of a challenge. Then the drivers can carry even more speed through that final corner. They're already trying to take it flat out. We've already seen drivers struggle with the amount of grass that's right on the track limits. It's quite of an old school circuit, really. There's not many tarmac runoffs. There's either grass or there's gravel. Both can really hamper your lap time. Not only that, make you lose control of the car as well. So qualifying is now underway, and this is another challenge of this 2.6 mile circuit. Because it's so narrow, you've got to try and find the space out there. Similar to Brands Hatch last time out, it's a very narrow circuit, very fast flowing circuit as well. So it's difficult to get out of the way of a car behind you. So drivers here have about 15 minutes to try and find that perfect bit of clear air out on track to set their fastest lap time. So here we go then. First minute is done and lots of cars out on track.
Absolutely, and they want to be in there and getting a banker lap time on the board. You get a lap quickly around this place and make sure you've got that in the back pocket. If other drivers can't and they maybe run into a couple of troubles, they are going to be maybe in a little bit worse for wear. But Hamida Akizi in the 404 looking for championship points, but they haven't been found to the way that he's wanted so far this season. He has certainly been someone who can, on his day, get up to the very, very top of the order. I'm sure we're going to be going on board for the flying lap along with him for this one, Kieran. But the key here, in terms of what he's looking for right now, is just points on the board after the big penalty that cost him at the circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. He's now thinking about, okay, well, championship's pretty much all but gone, but now I can really make a statement here if I can find a win.
Yeah, and obviously top 3 is going to be on the agenda now, isn't it? As it's the Nissan there of I'm trying to remember who that is. I think that was well, it was the Nissan, but the name precedes me. Anyway, Akizi now making his way through Kubo and now on towards the Luyendyk bend here, riding on board then with Akizi as he now makes his way through that final corner. Bit of understeer just as he wanted to get fully on the throttle once again across that start-finish line, and now we head down towards Tarzanbocht, heading down towards that first corner. You see the little bit of banking in towards the apex of the first corner. Try and use that to your advantage. A little bit of curb on the exit, but there's a lot of gravel there. Quick flick left before we dart to the right then in towards that right-hander of Gerlachbock, now heading into Hergenholzbocht. in through that tight left-hander, uphill on the exit to try and help you with that little bit of wheel spin, a little bit more traction than you may be expecting. Now it's the quick left-right as we now head our way in through Slotmacher and now down towards Schlivak. Right-hander here, full lock to that right-hand side there. No sense of oversteer this time around for Kesey. Now he makes his way in towards Master Spockman. Again, it's a quick flick left before you dart to the right. Now in towards turn 9. Very difficult corner to get right, this one. You want to get on the accelerator a lot earlier than you can, and that can cause a little bit of oversteer. Now in towards turn 10. Again, you've got to make sure you get the apex here. The exit of this corner is so important. Now we've got a little bit of slipstream as well from the Nissan ahead of us as we head our way in towards the Audi S, braking hard. 90 right before that 180 radial corner. Now in towards the Audi S once again, and now heading our way on towards the final 2 corners towards Cabot. Make sure as well here you're not taking too much speed in towards this right-hander, because there's not a lot of room for error on the exit. Now in towards Ari Luyendijk corner and on towards that start-finish line as he squeezes through to the right-hand side. Hamada Akizi will set a lap time, but what's it going to be? It's going to be the potential fastest 34.7 there. I think there's more time to find for Hamada Akizi. He'll have to go again, but not a bad lap time, all things considered.
No, definitely not. Top of the timing stands for the time being in the Ferrari, but he had to deal with a little bit of trouble here and there. Here's Hamza Belhassan, sorry, I should say, in the Triple Eight, making progress to the line. Let's see what the Audis can do here today. Dean Veller up there in 5th place, and Belhassan goes to 3rd. So Ashtoir. That's how it looks at the top of the order. Jack Noller currently 4th position in the Bentley right now. But as expected, we've got a few drivers out of position who haven't set times. Also, it's the 71 where most focus will be on, and Tiziano Brioni and how he does. Max Waffel with a good time. He dropped in the final lap last time out with fuel woes, and that's why he fell to 13th, but the Estonian now up into 9th place. We're watching Noller here go through the final 2 corners through Ari Lurendijk, and now making that progress to the line. He's got a nice toe in front from the Ferrari, trying to gain from the likes of Jimmy Holm there just in front, so we'll see what sort of times that is. Holm jumps forward, but Noller's gone to the top. 34.6 is enough for the time being.
Yeah, great lap time from Jack Noller, 34.6. I still think there is that little bit more time to find as the track is at optimum. You can see there, perfect amount of sunshine all the way through qualifying for at least the next half an hour. Miguel Neto gets himself now up to the 4th row of the grid in 7th place in that Garage 59 Aston Martin. It was Rainer Rassar in the Nissan, that's who it was, as he now makes his way towards the line. He's got a little bit of tow from the car ahead. Will that help him? Yes, it will. It puts him up to 17th place, 37.6. Conjabo now makes his way across the line in the Lexus, gets up to P16, 36.9 for the GRT Lexus there as he makes his way in towards that first corner. So not a bad lap time from the Hungarian. Of course, 14th in the standings right now. The only time he hasn't scored points was last time out at Brands Hatch, so he'll be wanting to get more points on the board. But there's your 3rd place man right now, Hamada Akizi, in that H3 Racing Ferrari. But the 2 ahead of him, Jack Noller, and in the Porsche, it's Messaoud once again looking for yet another pole position.
Well, another pole position and 3 in a row in terms of victories. He picks up a 3rd race win here today. Then he is in a prime position on a very important factor right now. And that important factor here, Kieran, is on countback. And countback doesn't seem very important when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. It only works in a very specific situation. But that specific situation is if you have more wins than anybody else in the field, if you tie on points to the championship, you're being placed ahead.
Yeah, so this is going to be an important race for Messaoud. If he wins this race, he will win on countback no matter what. With those 3 wins, he won't be able to be caught by anybody else. So this is an important round for him. If he wins this one, he puts himself in a really good position to take this championship. Akizi making his way in the 404 Racing Ferrari, now making his way on towards that start-finish line. What sort of time will the H3 racing car set? It's an improvement, 34.4 from the Ferrari there. Puts him now onto the front row of the grid. Jimmy Holm then in the Or Ferrari, currently 6th place for Jimmy Holm in the treble 7 car as he flies his way through Shivlak, now on towards Masters. as we head our way through that really quick right-hander now in towards turn 9. And again, it's a corner really that tests your patience, because it's very narrow on the entry, but then it doesn't actually open up the corner on the exit. So you want to put the power down, but that just leaves you to spinning up those rear tyres because it's just too early. So you've got to be patient with turn 9 as we now head our way on towards the Audi S. Currently 6th place so far. Can he build on that podium?
He certainly wants to build on it, and the 777 Ferrari in 6th place. I wouldn't say that this is a bad qualifying session from him so far at all. There are drivers, though, who still need to put those times in on the board that we haven't seen so far. The likes of Tiziano Brioni hasn't set anything as of yet. A 59.4 was an outlap, but he's heading through the Audi S right now. He's in the final position at the moment of 25th, the top 15 in this championship score points. It's a traditional point system for those who have followed World Pro Racing. 35 points for a win, 30 for second, 5 all the way down until you get to 10 points at around 6th, 7th place, and then it drops down by 1 point all the way to the end. Here comes Brioni in the 71 over to the line and moves up to the second row of the grid. It's an all Bentley second row right now. Brioni there up into third on a 34.5. He's got to find a couple tenths here to jump Messaoud and Urquizy. Teammates on the front row is exactly what they wanted.
Exactly what they wanted indeed. But Brioni, well, simply put, he will not be happy with third place. He will want to go again. Here comes Sheldon Muscat here, making his way through that long right-hander of bend, now on towards that start-finish straight maybe. Yeah, he pulls to the left-hand side of your picture, right-hand side of the track to go 9th fastest, 35.7 from the GT Omega Mercedes as he tries to stop that in towards Tarzanbach there. There is Brioni then, 34.5, puts him onto the second row of the grid. More importantly for him, it puts him into third place. And as we see from a one-time race winner so far this season, and again, when we head to Catalonia, he only scored 2 points. Last time out of Brands Hatch was a pointless round. So Brioni here will want to get straight back onto form with a good result here today and a good haul of points.
Absolutely, and it's those points that he so desperately wants. I think the championship win is going to be out of the horizon unless something happens to likes of Messaoud and Nola. He's got to try and stay within 35 points of Redouane Messaoud moving into the final round of the championship to have any chance of actually picking up this championship outright. He's 41 points behind, so he needs 2 places here today on Redouane Messaoud just to even be in the picture going into the final round. That's how desperate of a situation he's in. He's diving into the pits here with a few runs in qualifying left to go. Now, here's someone who has stuck with the Aston Martin all season long. There's only 2 of them in the field today, and Miguel Neto has been very, very quietly been running his season. He's now up to 6th at the moment in the championship on 42 points, and he's another driver who is on the cusp of being out of the championship hunt. He needs 1 more point than Redouane Messaoud today.
He does indeed, and this is where the points that you've got in the previous 3 rounds really do start to show how good your season has been in this 5-round championship. Here comes Miguel Neto in through the final corner in the Aston Martin Garage 59 car, currently 8th place. Is this going to be an improvement now for the number 59 car? It is, but it doesn't improve his position. 35.406, but he stays in 8th place. Looking at the rest of the field, you've got Bel Hassan in the Audi there, in the treble 8 Audi, up to 5th place. Dean Vella there, sorry, in the number 54 Audi. Oh, that's Muscat getting it all wrong, going in towards Hergenholzblock as he manages to recover that one, but that will be that lap time well and truly over.
Absolutely, and that will mean that he'll have to go around again and work it out. Now, here's Silva Piamet in 24th position, second to last at the moment. The only red classified driver in this field. That categorises his online rating as an amateur, and he's looking to try and get some progress forward as Stromage does jump up 1 place into 15th ahead of Piardi. But now for Silva Piamet, he'll be certainly hoping that he can get himself through in the other Aston Martin through the final corner. This is looking okay at the moment. Had a little wiggle there coming off of the penultimate corner, but has it all nice and settled here on the run to the line. It's almost flat through that part of track, and he does jump over Raboldi, so moves into 23rd place on a 37.9. But that's where you start to see the differences when it comes to this championship. You've got drivers up at the top who can challenge at any field in the world. You've got drivers maybe who are trying to get up to that stage, the likes of Silva Piamet.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not bad at all for PMS. He's certainly doing a better job than I would ever do. Max Pfaffel there, the Estonian in the Incoherent Racing Lines Mercedes, 14th place so far, but looking to try and improve on that lap time. We have less than 3 minutes to go of this qualifying session as we see Pfaffel here making his way through Ari Luyendijk bend. Through they go, through that right-hander, foot firmly placed down on that right pedal, now heading towards the start-finish line. Is this going to be an improvement for Pfaffel? It is a 35.9, which puts him up to 12th place, so further into the points, but he's instantly pushed back down to 13th. There is Stefano Trazzi in the Italian Ferrari, of course, in the Carlux Ferrari, the number 22, currently in position 22, car number 3. Now, I'm going to get those numbers mixed up. It had to be soon. One mistake is stream. But Trazzi here now making his way through the final couple of corners. Last time out, 3rd place for Jimmy Holmes. Currently 8th place in qualifying here today, but he is currently on a flying lap. You can see him attacking in towards turn 9.
Certainly is, and he's wanting to improve on his time. 2-minute warning put up on the clock then. There's not long to go. You've got to feel like you are on track right now. Otherwise, you're not going to get your lap time at all. It's bright, sunny conditions here at this circuit of Zandvoort and the circuit park. You've got to try and make sure that you get everything working through those very tough 180-degree left of the Audi S, the second part of it. Now trying to make a drive. Of course, that Ferrari in front will get the blue flags waved for him to say, come on, out of the way, please, I'm on a lap. Jimmy Holm does have to back out of it then and try and gear up for one more attempt with 1 minute 15 remaining here in this one. Hans Hannes is in the pits. He is the only driver who cannot improve at this stage on his times, but here is Urquizy, still P2 in the 404 Ferrari. He wants to try and get himself up one extra position to try and get his championship back on track.
Yeah, it certainly does, but P2 right now won't be enough if Messaoud is ahead of him as he now flies his way in towards the penultimate corner, now in towards Luyendijk Bend. Through we go, through that right-hander, trying to get our way through on towards the start-finish line. Is this going to be an improvement here for Urquizy? Can he try and grab that provisional pole position? He heads across the line. No, he can't. 34.467. It's not an improvement in time, therefore not an improvement in position. Now we go with the Bentley, the Musto GT Esports Bentley of Tiziano Brione, is looking to try and get a result on the board here, but flashing his lights at the Lexus in front of him. He's not happy. He's going to have to abandon that lap. That could be his qualifying session really over now.
It certainly does. It was, of course, the Lexus of Urbrick there who was just in front of him, and that was not ideal at all. He did run off wide. He should have maybe yielded the place then because the timer has expired. There was no way he was going to get another lap down on the board, and Brione might have a reason to be a little frustrated in the Musto Bentley right now, making his way through the final couple of corners and trying to make that charge to the line. That may just cost him in the long run. Luke Whitehead has jumped up into 6th position with a really good time, and that is backing off the lap. And you can see Messaoud's got no sectors that are purple, but he's pieced it all together on a 34.290 at the moment towards the end of qualifying as those final times come in. The top, I believe, 6 drivers all within 1 second at this moment. It was very close between 7th and 9th place out there on the board, but as things stand, it is still Messaoud who has control of things, and I look and I think that he's probably going to get there all the way over to the line right now as we move on over here. The race will be coming up very shortly, but Ashtoire, they've done exactly what they've needed to here. Get driver on front row, get driver into prime position. You can't ask for anything more than that, and the easiest thing that you can do when you're out there racing, Lewis Hamilton has Valtteri Bottas behind him, you have a rear gunner.
Yes, absolutely. That's what Messaoud will want. He'll be very happy with that pole position. This is an important race for him. If he wins this one, it means he can't be beaten on countback. So this is a really important win. He has to get it, and it puts him in a really good position for the final round of the season next week when we head to the Nürburgring. So all he's got to do really is keep it together for the next half an hour, and he's got himself a really good chance of taking home that big prize heading into next week. Of course, don't forget that we have Luke Whitehead, who started well at Silverstone at the very first round, but results haven't gone his way since. He'll be wanting to bounce back if he possibly can. As well as that, you've got the drivers like Jimmy Holm, who got himself that podium last time out. He wants to continue that form. But you've also got drivers like Tiziano Brione, who we expected to be at the pointy end of this championship this late on in it. However, he finds himself off the pace a little bit thanks to his pointless finish at Brands Hatch. And he'll be hoping to get as many points on the board as he possibly can to have a glimmer of hope of any championship win.
And that championship win is going to be so hard fought, as in the next couple of moments we'll be jumping down grid side and looking at the race and to see who is going to be where and in what position of control. There is another big advantage being on the front row in these sorts of races on the Assetto Corsa Competizione, Kieran, and that's the rolling start. So with that opportunity in mind, do Hachetois have the ability now to coordinate their start with each other and get a break on the rest of the field?
I'm sure it's been discussed with the team about the rolling start. If they lock out the front row, how are they do it? Are they going to slightly delay one of the drivers so that Messaoud can get the great start? It has to be very, very slight, though, because can't look to it that choreographed way. So I assume that's what they're going to do. They're going to try and give Messaoud the best advantage possible. Although the only problem with that is that allows third place to get a good start behind them. And that's not an H3 car, as far as we know. That's going to be Brione, who's going to be on the attack from the word go. So it's a bit of a risk to take, leaving that opportunity open. But I think that would have been a strategy that would have been discussed.
Certainly would have been discussed as we go down and have a little look then at the grid. There is Red One Messaoud, Kesey second, Brione and Nola there, the two Bentleys on the second row, Belhassan in fifth, and Luke Whitehead there in sixth position. Then you've got Vela and Neto there in seventh and eighth, and Jimmy Holm and Max Vaffel rounding out the top 10. The rest of the drivers up and down the order searching for opportunities. Adam Plivac has once again made a late change. He's switched from the McLaren over to the AMG Mercedes then over the course of practice, and feels like that could be the best run possible. But now you start to wonder here, how much are you going to be practicing that start? You can see so aggressive is Jack Nolla just there on the slamming of the brakes as drivers do try and work things out. They do have that ability just to go through and make sure it's all going to be okay before the start, just trying to massively heat up their tyres. That's what they're doing, just jamming on the brakes. You can see it is a very dangerous ploy because you slow all the way right up to very much zero. Red One Messaoud does, because he's desperate to get tyre temp incredibly early here in this one. That will cause havoc for all those drivers behind. Now they have to carry a certain limit because the race starts now here at Zandvoort. It's a pretty decent start on the inside there from Messaoud. They funnel and file into position. Brione's forced to take the pit line, trying to go down the inside. There's contact in the middle though as Whitehead runs into the back there of Jack Nolla, who's second in the championship. Nato drops down the order as well to 17th, and now it's pandemonium here in the middle. Someone's in the wall in the background. That looked like one of the Ferraris, maybe Trazzi there in the wall as they went on through. But it's Red One Messaoud out in front, and the carnage they wanted on lap one is absolutely guaranteed, but they got Brione for company.
They have indeed, and they've got to try and run away with this as best as they possibly can, as Urbrick is somewhere in that mix then. He's got an Aston Martin right on his inside, and in contact between the two of them. That was never going to work, and Urbrick there gets really taken out there going through that fast section there. I mean, races like these there's a moment from Brione there. He got onto the grass, and a huge moment of oversteer for him. He managed to gather it up, but that would have been a huge rate of increase of heart rate there for him for sure. But he managed to keep a hold of that one. But yeah, the incident before will be investigated by the stewards, and I will not be surprised if I see a penalty coming for at least one of those cars. It's the first lap. You can't win the race then, but you can certainly lose it. And you've got to have a little bit more restraint going through one of the narrowest parts of the circuit, as Plivac here is actually up all the way to 15th place now. A switch from the McLaren to the Mercedes, and keeping his head cool, keeping his nose out of trouble, he's now into the points.
Absolutely, that's how you do it here. Red One Messaoud leads this race after one lap, scored in the books, but these top three, they're going to be racing this one all race long for the championship. Mark my and words. at this stage. The championship leader in position number 1. There's Joseph Dobes as well in 12th place. He's having to defend as Jan Reiler here into the top 10. He's got Stromae in the background to deal with us. That's going to be Hannes and Waffel side by side. Hannes in the white Ferrari there, just dropping the place, it seems, as Plivac still has his troubles. He's got Piardi in the Bentley there, the green Bentley, unable to find a way through. Here at the Hugenholz, though, it's on camber. And look at this from Gershli Kunshabo down the inside and sneaking one up. What a battle we've got once again, second straight week for the final points-paying position.
Yeah, on the rear wing of Adam Plivac here as we see Piardi, we've got Kunshabo, we've got Piermet, who's made a good start. He's all the way up to 18th place now, so a great start from our driver there. And Kunshabo now trying to chase down the car ahead of him, which will be Adam Plivac. He's got himself into that 16th place. Meanwhile, Jimmy Holm is now all the way up to 5th place. Jack Noller is trying to find a way back through as we headed our way in towards the Audi S, but no way through now as Messaoud leads the field then, but he's not exactly getting away. Keezy's getting very close for comfort on his rear diffuser, and Tiziano Brione is looking to try and pick up the pieces, and that could be a huge moment then, because Keezy ran onto the grass there on the exit of the Audi S, so he's got to be careful, because any sense...
Oh, hello.
We've got a car off. Is that Messaoud? It is, who finds himself onto the grass, and Keezy takes the lead away. Brione goes up to 2nd place, and now Brione will be thinking, this is my chance to take the lead as we head in towards Tarzan. But what happened to Messaoud? Did he just run wide on the exit? Too much speed through?
It looked like it was just a case of pushing too much. Saw through all out the Audi S how much Keezy and Brione were ready to attack. It was Keezy who made the mistake on the outside of the Audi S, which really just backed them up. And then when he seemed like he got a couple tenths of respite and a bit of breathing room, he's now dropped 2 places. So Brione now ahead, Keezy now ahead, and Brione needs now only 1 place here to jump up ahead. We look back to Stromae and the huge train behind Max Waffel right now, and Sheldon Scott Muscat 8th and 7th here at this stage. This is Stromae in 11th. It's all behind actually just Max Waffel, as there is Muscat trying to stay with Noller, Holman, Vella, 6th, 5th and 4th position right now. This is a really interesting battle. They're forming their own little packs at this moment in time. Now Vella and Noller are teammates, and I wouldn't be surprised late to see if Vella moves over here for Jack Noller.
Yeah, it would make sense, wouldn't it, if they're on the same team. There's Stromae, who takes a little bit of a deeper line there. We've got Jimmy Holm trying to look at down the inside of Dean Vella. Here we go into the Audi S, and Jimmy Holm takes that 4th place away. Thank you very much, he says. I will take that position away and ride off into the sunset. So now comes that, well, it might be a sort of choreographed team move between Dean Vella and Jack Noller, as Jack Noller wants to get as many points as possible. But look how far behind Messaoud has fallen back. He's in 3rd place right now. His teammate, Hamada Keezy, leads the way from Tiziano Brione, who we know wants a good result. Hasn't been on the podium since the very first round. This is the moment he's been waiting for to get those points back that he so desperately wants.
I wonder how much damage Red One Messaoud has to that left-hand side of his car after the hit on the Armco. That could be the real worry. If you are new and joining us right now, you can like, share and subscribe for more great content brought to you by World Pro Racing. It's going to stay sunny all the way throughout this race. And of course, you can go to worldproracing.com for more amazing sim racing action. Sign up for events that are coming up. Both amateur and professionals are welcome here with us. But at the moment, it is Hamada Keezy who leads this race outright. But here's some side-by-side for Rashid Black. Whitehead, 2 tyres on the grass. Did Ryan Hunter-Reay come to Zandvoort? That's a great move as he tries to get through. And suddenly, that's Bel Hassan trying to recover a way back through and jump up into 12th, get past Stromae. Audi versus Audi, not having it here in towards turn 9.
Yeah, that was a brave move from Whitehead then to get that position. And now Stromae has got that H3 car of Bel Hassan all over the back of him as we now make way onwards now out of turn 10. And onwards we go towards the Audi S. And Stromae has got to try and be careful, because I can see Bel Hassan going for a move up the inside. He's going to think about it, making the move up the inside. Bit of contact between them into the Audi S. And Stromae goes straight across the gravel trap there. No real way he could have made that corner from that point. And there is Bel Hassan, who will make his way back through, as there is Dobes in the background wanting to try and take advantage of the 2 of these guys battling, but Bel Hassan ahead for now.
Just for now though, and the stewards will also have a look at this. They've got so much work to have a look at, do these stewards, and I reckon it is going to take a little bit of time for all of these penalties to cycle on through from the opening lap and a little bit longer. There's G Jamsran then in 23rd place. He was actually the driver who was in the wall in the opening sections of the laps as he was trying to go through, as now he's looking to try and get past one driver, but Stramair is really starting to be a bottleneck here for not only Bel Hassan but for Dobes as well. Another dive to the inside, more contact between the two, pushed out on the exit, and Stramair nowhere to go. Can he get it gathered up? Yes, he can, but he is just about now going to be able to get going again at the expense of about 6, 7, 8 places out there on track. So he's to get it wrong. Speaking of wrong, there's Dean Vella in the grass through the penultimate corner, and that is as easy as you like. In fact, sorry, no, that's not the penultimate corner. That's the corner just after Shevlak, and he finds himself now all the way down in 7th place as Jan Ryler wants to try and defend this one from Luke Whitehead. Taking the long road, contact between the two. Ryler is sent around for his troubles.
Yeah, and on that inside line there, got a little bit of tap on the front end, and the car just unbalanced, a little bit nervous there, just spun all the way around, and now Akizi is having to defend hard from the Bentley of Brione behind. Here we go then, onto the start-finish straight. We're not even 10 minutes into this race. So much action has happened. Here is Akizi having to go defensive in towards Tarzan. Now in towards the first corner, braking hard now. The Bentley's on the outside as Brione tries to find a way through. He might try a little bit of a cutback as we head our way in towards Gerlach and then towards Hergenholtz. Now in towards that darting right-hander, and it's heavy braking now in towards Hergenholtz. Now on through, now we go through Hunsrug. We're riding on board now with Brione as we head our way through this high-speed section now. No chances, no time to think about these series of corners as we now head our way into Rob Slotmacher, Bocht, and now in towards Shevlak. As again a little bit of opposite lock from Brione as he tried to turn in there, locking the rear brakes very slightly as the car just did not want to turn in for him. Manages to gather it up as we head in towards Mastersbach, now in towards turn 9, and still Brione finds himself behind. Max Vavel here is having to try and defend now. I think he's actually trying to defend from Hans Hannes in the number 77 Ferrari. So at the moment, 8th place in the Incoherent Racing Line's Mercedes.
8th place in the number 88. He definitely wants the lucky number to continue at this stage. Just getting word that there is a 10-second stop and hold that's going to be administered to Dean Vella, his incident with Luke Whitehead. So he'll be dropping down the order with a penalty for Dean Vella from 7th position. And once again, another race where he'll be scrapping for maybe just 1 point here today as Stramair in 17th holds back those drivers behind. Legreston, Conchavo, Riboldi, all for places. Here's Plivac and Piardi, 14th and 15th. They are certainly searching for those final couple of points. 2 and 1 points they are fighting for at this moment in time. But the point I was going to get to through all of this, Kieran, is that at the front between Brione, of course, and Urquizy, it's Ferrari versus Bentley. 2 incredibly different styles and philosophies of GT3 vehicle.
Well, absolutely, but they're giving each other a great battle out on track as we see Plivac here is going to have to do some defending from Piardi in the Bentley. He looks to the inside now, and look at that, Piardi looking even more to the inside now. In towards Tarzan, he's trying to slow the car down. Can he do it in time? He has to take a wider line on exit, but should get the traction now. They're going to run side by side as we head our way through Gerlach, but a great move from Piardi there. Brave stuff down the inside, and that 14th position is his.
Absolutely, that is well done. Hamida Urquizy, though, is having to defend and defend hard. Now, this is the key here to Hamida Urquizy defending this early in the race. Yes, we're only just over the 1/3 distance, but he's thinking about number 1, just behind in 3rd place. The more he defends, the more that he holds up Tiziano Brione as Hans Hannes gets attacked from Whitehead and goes around at turn 9. Vella gets administered his penalty, but crucially enough, what I was talking about is Brione is being held up right now by Urquizy, as now that's Urbrick then through into 12th place.
Absolutely, and we're just getting word from the stewards then that the incident between Neto and Urbrick has been deemed a racing incident, so no further action between the two of those. They continue racing, but Urbrick here now in 12th place after that, as he now tries to chase down the Mercedes ahead of him in Dobres as he heads his way through the Audi S and now on towards Kumo. There's that battle for the lead once again. Urquizy trying to hang on and try and get away from Brione. It's just not happening. Tiziano Brione is just right on him as we head our way now in towards Hergenholtz, and you can see there Urquizy defending that inside line, just trying to keep his bases covered as Messaoud trying to keep up with the two ahead of them as we head away through this high-speed section. There's Dean Vella in to serve his 10-second stop-and-go penalty that he's received from the stewards, and 7th place, a really good chance to score some really good points in this season. His first points this would have been for the season. And we've got word then, actually looking at the stewards there, that the incident between Bel Hassan and Stromae is going to be a drive-through for Bel Hassan. So that's not what the H3T wanted for one of their drivers. So he's going to have to serve that drive-through penalty in some point in the next 3 laps.
He absolutely will, and there'll be a lot of places dropped there with that drive-through penalty, as Joseph Dobes, currently now classified in 10th place, is having to play defence right now. And Dobes, in terms of the way that he's been running this season, it is really worth noting how many points he has. He's only got 3 so far this season. He picked all 3 of those up at round 2 of the championship, and now he's got to think about, okay, I'm in this one at this stage for what is 6 championship points. If he can hold back a very, very determined Erbrick and Hans Hannes, who have both been very consistent all season long. How has this shuffled up the field, though? Well, Sheldon Scott Muscat's all of a sudden up into 6th place, and Max Vaffel now into 7th. It's again Urquizy having to take that very narrow trajectory through Tarzan, the banked corner, the, I would say, American-style corner, as he gets a lot of curb actually going through Gerlach at turn 2, and all of a sudden, Brioni is searching that outside line at the Hugenholz, trying to pick up any form of advantage there on the exit. It doesn't work.
No, not this time around, but as we head our way now into that right-hander, Rob Slottermacher, now heading our way down towards Shivlak. He's trying to hold on for that position, but Dobes here now in 9th place as he now tries to hold off that attack from Erbrick behind as we head our way now in towards Hugenholtz. And you can see there, that is Erbrick trying to find a way through. These are 2 drivers you really don't want to see in your mirrors if you're trying to score some high points, the highest points you have for this season in Erbrick and Hannes there. They are looking desperately to try and find their way through as Urquizy there goes for a little bit of an adventure there for some reason. But anyway, Muscat, we can see. That could be because...
That looks like internet issues, and of all the internet issues, that's the way that it gets determined. You effectively go in a straight line from wherever you are. That's the way that Seto Corsa Competizione does it, and that could mean that from the race lead at the halfway stage here in this race, it's all changed because Tiziano Brioni now leads, and Urquizy, by all intents and purposes here right now, Kieran, is now out of the event. This is a straight-up dogfight. And guess who's back on the podium again in 3rd place now? It's Jimmy Holm as Stromae makes his way through on PMX to jump into what is now 13th position.
Yeah, and that'll be so heartbreaking for Urquizy there. He was doing well to defend that position, but look at this now, the battle for what becomes 3rd place between Jimmy Holm and Jack Noller. Jack Noller 2nd place in this championship. He needs to get up the field quicker because Messaoud is in slight trouble at the moment. He's down in 2nd place. Meanwhile, Dobes moves to the right-hand side. Through goes Erbrick, and I think through goes Hannes as well. I think Dobes has just realised, I don't actually want to race you two. I want to get some good results and good points. 10th place is still will be my highest finishing position of the season. I'd rather take that.
Absolutely, and look at how many drivers are doing so well. Max Vaffel here is in 6th place right now. He's trying to defend from a hard-charging Luke Whitehead, who may or may not be at the wrath of the stewards with a couple of issues here and there. You can see just how many lines are there, and actually that's a big mistake from Max Vaffel, who understeered through the entirety of Shivlak. Down the inside goes Whitehead then at turn 7, and he gets the move all nicely worked out with a nice neat bow to go on top of that as well. Max Vaffel there, you can see just how many lines there are, how much rubber has gone down there at turn 7 of Shivlak here, because that's a corner where you have to be really committed on the brakes, and you're seeing so many drivers having the back end step out. And oh my goodness, that's both, that's a key, Hannes and Erbrick both off the road, and suddenly Dobes back into 8th place, and everyone's jumping up places.
Yeah, you see, Dobes looked into his crystal ball and saw the future. He let those 2 go. They've caught up. They've tangled somewhere. I think that was at Mastersbock there just before turn 9, if I'm not mistaken. I might be. However, Hans Hannes is looking to try and get that position straight back from Piardi, which he has done, and up a position he will go. But Dobes now has made the best move of the race. He let the 2 cars behind him go. The 2 cars that went ahead then tangled. He's taken 8th place back. Nice move.
Absolutely, it was a brilliant move, and now you start to think here that those in the middle could have a good run. Now, those drivers who maybe could gain from all of these drivers running into troubles, Bel Hassan and Vela, who are on the recovery, they'll want to try and jump up through. Whitehead is there in 6th position, and he is definitely trying to get himself up as far as he can before any potential penalty comes in for him on the boards. Now, Hannah's under pressure. Look at Piardi trying to dive down the inside at turn 3, having himself an opportunity into the Hoogan holes. They come along, and out and away they go once again. This has been a race to stay quiet on. Mistake on power application for the exit for Piardi. And all of a sudden, you'll now look at Stramer closing up on him through this very long, high-speed flowing section.
Yeah, the exit of Hugenholz is not where you want to be spinning up those rear tires. Good 15, 20 seconds, so it really isn't the way you want to go. Meanwhile, it looks like Messaoud has found his second win. He's now right on the back of Tiziano Brioni as we now head our way down the start-finish rate. Less than 12 and a half minutes to go here in round number 4 of the Assetto Corsa World Pro Racing Sprint Series, and it's Tiziano Brioni looking for his second race win of the season. Messaoud looking for his third. You're looking at the battle for the lead with the only 2 people to rack up a win this season.
Absolutely, and Brioni, who's not had the consistency. Messaoud, who has. Now this becomes a really key fight. Now here's Gershly Conchabo here, who is currently now holding, or dropping down the order here into what is now 17th place. He's lost places to Bel Hassan and co. It may be at this stage, but here's the drive going through the next right-hander as he tries to make this progress through. And can he get close enough to just defend this one or just break away? Well, the question will become on who's behind and who can get through, and Bel Hassan will definitely want that one at the moment. They are scrapping just in front of him, but into turn 1, they'll be starting to look. Here's the dive to the inside, trying to get this one done. Bel Hassan now has a solitary point here at Zandvoort.
Yeah, nice, controlled in towards the first braking zone at Tarzan, and he's got that move done. He now moves into the points, and he'll be hoping the race can only go up from here, riding on board with the rear wing of Tiziano Brioni and the Musto GT Esports Bentley, right, and being hounded by Messaoud in the H3 Porsche right behind as we head our way in towards the penultimate corner of Kumo, and now in towards Ari Luyendijk corner, now through that long right-hander on towards that start-finish straight. Messaoud has already understeered once here. That car looks planted this time around. He's in the slipstream, is Messaoud. Can he find a way past in towards Tarzan? I think actually he's just a little bit too far back there. You can see a little bit too far back. I wonder, Jake, if that little bit of front left-hand damage has caused a little bit of aero damage and he's not quite got the same straight line speed as he once had.
But even so, it's a Porsche against a Bentley. Bentleys are known for being very good in a straight line, and sometimes that's the counter pick that works really well at these traditionally difficult circuits, because you can see right now that Bentley doesn't have any draft in front of it, but it's pulling away through this section, is able to gain a half a tenth to a tenth through here. When it comes to the difficult corners now, which is this next section coming up, which favours the Porsche, he now has the gap to not really be as worried by Redouane Messaoud behind.
Yeah, and he can plant that Bentley wherever he wants it now as we head our way into turn 9. And you can see they're braking hard now. Very difficult corner to get right, but now heading our way in towards turn 10. And Messaoud is just trying to keep tabs on the Bentley, looking right at the rear diffuser there, probably studying it at the moment as he's that close as we now make our way up towards that short run towards the Audi S. And Tiziano Brioni holding on right now, wanting to try and get this second race win of the season. Less than 10 minutes to go. Brioni leads from Messaoud. Jimmy Holm still in 3rd place in the 777 Ferrari with Jack Noller in 4th place. It's Sheldon Muscat who's in 5th place. Luke Whitehead in 6th. And there is Jimmy Holm. He is under pressure from Jack Noller. Down in towards the Audi S, the Bentley. Has he got the line? Then he's got the inside line through that bank left-hander. And he has got the move done. Jack Noller, 2nd place in this championship right now, becomes 3rd in this race. Great move.
Great move, and Jack Noller has needed this and very desperately needed to get through. Jimmy Holm is a tough character to get by because he knows where to plant the car. And Noller immediately going defensive. There's Piardi in 12th place. He's still having to defend right now against the likes of Stramer. But the key is for Jack Noller. He's 3rd. He's only 1 place behind Messaoud. He's only dropping 5 points here today going into the final round of the championship. He'll be hoping, or beyond hope at this stage, that Brioni and Messaoud both come together and he can just scamper on through and gain some crucial points in the championship fight.
Yeah, we've got an update from the stewards then that the incident between Whitehead and Ryler has been investigated, and it's found that Whitehead was at fault. He's going to take a 10-second stop-and-go penalty. Meanwhile, then, Messaoud is right on the back of Brioni as we head our way in towards turn 9 there, but Brioni handles that pressure really well. We head our way now in towards turn 10. Brioni has the inside line. You can see Messaoud trying a little bit of a cut back there, but again, he's just met by that wall of Bentley at this moment in time. Heading our way now on towards the Audi S, and still the Bentley leads.
Well, it's the great wall of Brioni at this stage to try and get by, and the great Bentley is doing a great job. Now it's about trying to get the drive off the exit. You can see through the mid part of the corner, Messaoud really does close up, but he can't get himself there. It's not a stop-go penalty we're hearing from Whitehead. It will be a time penalty at the end of this race. You'll be getting a 10-second time penalty added on. He doesn't have to come down to the pit, but Brioni again able to cover off the prime overtaking place. This corner, turn number 1, a 36.2 though, that last time by. He's defending so much, he's 1.6 seconds slower than his fastest lap of the race so far. We're down to the last 7.5 minutes. By my rough calculations, that's going to be around about 5 laps to figure out this race. Jamsran having a fight here with Dean Vella for 17.
Yeah, Dean Vella as well, wanting to recover to get his first points of the season. He was 7th, took that penalty, and now is all the way down to 18th place. Has he got the good run out of turn 10? Onwards we go then towards the Audi S in that slipstream now in the GT Omega. Audi trying to pull to the left-hand side. I love the outside now going in towards the Audi S, but again, riding that curb, and maybe that's cost him a little bit of speed. Rejoining that battle for the lead, it is Brioni still leading as we head our way in towards turn 10. Messaoud is trying to make difficult the life of the Bentley. However, the Bentley's having none of it. Meanwhile, we're going side by side then. This is Belhassan on the inside of Marco Piardi. Belhassan's got the inside line. A little bit of contact going in towards Tarzan, but Belhassan is through and up to P13.
He is, and he's doing well. Brioni into the Audi S again. This might be the place where you've got to go and send it late here for Redouane Messaoud if he wants to try and pick up his 3rd race win of the season. He knows he doesn't have to win this race. He goes, if he stays like this, first or second, no matter what happens, he's got the championship lead heading into the final round of the championship. The question becomes, at what statement does he want to make? Does he want this win, or does he want to be content here with 2nd position? Brioni is doing a really, really good job here at the front, just holding off, just staving off the challenge right now, but he moves slightly wide there through turn 1, and this could be the chance that Redouane Messaoud has been waiting for. Through turn 2, into 3, he'll look at the Hugenholz, but again, that Hugenholz is not a place you can traditionally dive down the inside. They'll take the very uncanny inside to inside line there, just to make sure there's no chance that you're going to lose that place.
Yeah, and Brioni driving well, just trying to defend. And Jack Noller, we can see there in 3rd place. Well, Jimmy Holm really hasn't gone anywhere. He's still right on the back of that GT Omega RPM Esports Bentley, and the All Racing Ferrari is just trying to close in. Tiziano Brioni, though, having to defend in towards 9. Now we go in towards turn 10, and Messaoud again trying to make life difficult. Has he got the cut back then as we make our way now towards turn 10? He's going to be on the outside. Brioni's got the inside line there. You can see he's got it. He's got the cut back. He's got the inside line. Oh, he spun it. He spun the rear tyres up. Was there contact? Or did he leave it? Either way, Brioni's got the lead.
Brioni has tapped Messaoud around. He couldn't get through. And now the championship leader is in a world of trouble right now. We catch this on the replay. Watch this as they go on through. Redouane Messaoud forces the mistake out of Tiziano Brioni. He runs deep then through turn 9. That gives him all of the troubles now for 10 as he's on the inside. He has to cover it. He breaks too deep, and now look as he tries to gather it back up into the apex here. Nowhere to go. Contact between the two, and there into the wall goes Redouane Messaoud. He's in all sorts of trouble right now, and the balance of power in this championship has dramatically changed. He's still in 2nd position, crucially, but look how close now behind. You see the likes of Jack Noller, Jimmy Holm, and co, as they'll be thinking about this going, well, how vulnerable is he? Can we, in the final 4 minutes, pick up places and, crucially, points in the championship? Will that driver, Tiziano Brioni, have a penalty to go with come the end of this one that changes everyone's points?
Well, late drama. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for late drama. Tiziano Brione making that contact. That could be investigated by the stewards. When we get to the checker flag, it might still not be decided. But Messaoud right now has got to concentrate on the now. He's currently in second place. He's got to finish ahead of Jack Noller now. The balance of this race has shifted entirely. Finish ahead of Jack Noller. That's his new objective now, and he's doing that currently. Jimmy Holm will probably be helping him out in that sense, because he'll be putting Jack Noller under pressure all the way to that checkered flag as we make our way all the way through, as we have just under 3.5 minutes to go. Tiziano Brione leads the way right now in the Bentley, heading towards the Audi S. It's Messaoud in second, championship leader. And as you say, Jake, only dropping 5 points to Brione and scoring against everybody else. That's not a bad way to go about it. He will have the championship lead going to the Nürburgring next week. Brione now making his way through the final couple of corners. He'll cross the line with probably about 2 minutes 50 seconds to go. So at that rate, we're probably down to our final 2 laps.
We certainly are at this stage, and Tiziano Brione here will be hoping beyond hope. The stewards rule that a racing incident. Dobes under pressure here. He's now fighting for an 8th place against Jan-Niklas Ulrich here, who has been here, there and everywhere, up and down and all around with incidents in the mid-pack. But he's certainly hoping that 8th place is still achievable for him right now. His run of finishes this season for Jan-Niklas Ulrich, inside of 10 points every single time, is now just going to fall away, you'd say, here at this late stage as he tries to pick up the run here on the AMG Mercedes. He actually lunges for the inside here at the penultimate corner. Dobes, who has driven a really, really great race here, not fought with anybody that he doesn't need to, in 9th place now with that overtake. He is probably driver of the day by my standing.
Yes, absolutely. And knowing that he just doesn't need to go for that battle. He doesn't need to be a hero. Bring that car home now, and he'll get his best finish of the season, which currently is 9th place. Meanwhile, Hans Hannes is going side by side with Bel Hassan, and I believe that's Plyvatch ahead of them as well, heading in towards Tarzan. You can see Hans Hannes has the inside line. Bel Hassan will have to go the long way round through the first turn. Bel Hassan has to drop back as well, and Adam Plyvatch as well, looking to try and score some good points here, as he scored 5 points at round 2, but when pointless at Brands Hatch, he'll be wanting to get another good point scoring record on the board. Less than 90 seconds to go.
Absolutely, and they have to finish the lap that they do start, so they know they've got that in the back pocket. Jack Noller is not safe, though, in 3rd position. He's got Jimmy Holm for a bit of company, and this will be the final lap of the race that we are going on to right now. So, Jack Noller just needs to drive the most clean and consistent final lap that he's got just to keep his championship in a broad sense of reality. This has been a good drive by Messaoud. Yes, there's been contact, but he's going to be trying to get himself then to the very, very limits as he tries to go into turn 1. Okay, looks at Dobes now. He's back through then on Ulrich. So that's been a change of position. Ulrich's going to try and get this one back again on the outside, and it's almost a mirror image of what we saw a lap ago. Dobes off of the throttle, allowing then one Jan-Niklas Ulrich to go through, and he gets himself in the nicest of positions then to pick up a top 10 finish, which he needs. Sheldon Scott Muscat's not clear though. He's got Luke Whitehead. He's guaranteed 5th position with the 10-second time penalty, but on track, Luke Whitehead knows he definitely wants to try and find 10 seconds over Vaffel and Ulrich if he definitely can. 5-second time penalty added on to Tiziano Brione then for that incident, and he knows what he needs to do. He's got to just try and make sure he's got that gap of 5 seconds. We'll wait with a stopwatch when the timer expires. In fact, it's been added up to 10 seconds worth of time penalty. So it is 10 seconds now for Tiziano Brione, and he is going to be dropping potentially a place. On track, he is going to win this one, but I think by the points, by the numbers, he's not going to get there over the line with what he wants. It is a controversial race. He does get the ire of the stewards as he goes on through, at least on track. Tiziano Brione wins here at Zandvoort, but we wait with a stopwatch, see where Red One Messaoud is. He's heading through the final corner right now, and by the looks of things, this is going to be mighty close to 10 seconds here as they cross the line. We'll wait on the left-hand side to see if he's through and okay and ahead, and the answer to that one is, I believe, no, he didn't get there in time. So that would be Messaoud 2nd, Noller 3rd, and Jimmy Holm in 4th place. Muscat will hold off Whitehead to the line, but we still await for confirmation of the results here at Zandvoort. Kieran, you have to really go on and say that this has been a race which I think will need a lot of reviewing by the stewards because everybody went pretty much hammer and tongs all race long. There's Silver Piermetz. He loses a place late then to Dean Vella.
Yeah, and a chance of points, and sadly for Piermetz, it wasn't meant to be, but a great drive nonetheless. Still 17th place when he started outside of the top 20 is nothing to shake your head at. He can be very happy with how he's driven here today, and just losing that position to Dean Vella all the way through. And Dean Vella, what a race it could have been had he not picked up his penalty. He would have picked up his first points of the season, but you can see Piermetz is happy with that one. He's happy to take the checkered flag. That's his best finish of the season. Brioni then, as it stands, officially, unofficially, he is your race winner here at Zandvoort and takes his second race win of the season. Of course, that is to be confirmed, but we believe that those 10 seconds, that 10-second penalty that he had, well, to me, the car behind in Messaoud was more than 10 seconds behind, so I think Brioni gets the win.
I think he does, and I think he is very, very lucky that he has come away with that victory. It's so easy to do here in terms of the battling that we've had, where a victory can definitely be on the horizon and can work very much to the best of abilities. We're still monitoring everything, and so penalties may still be added after the race is score complete. So this is not a guarantee. This is not fully all sorted out and worked out here, ladies and gentlemen. But you know, Kieran, we're in this position right now where it's a very controversial race result. This result right here, what the stewards look at and maybe review and say, okay, we need to be a little bit harsher with that one. It might just be a case here with one of these sorts of incidents that we go on to the Nürburgring right now at the end of this broadcast and we still don't know what the race result is outright.
Well, maybe. I mean, there'll be appeals for sure at that penalty down at turn 10. But at this moment in time, as they cross the line, Brioni's got the win, Messaoud in second. The important thing for Messaoud, though, is he's got the second place. He scored 5 points against Jack Noller, his championship rival, down in second place. So it's not the end of the world for Messaoud. He would have wanted the win here today. However, he's got second place still. Getting points over your rivals is a good thing. And the only one he didn't get it against was Tiziano Brioni.
Exactly, and that is so very, very crucial. We do have one driver here for interview with us. It's Redwan Messaoud. He is stood by with Kieran McGinley.
He is indeed. And Redwan Messaoud, congratulations on yet another podium in this championship. How was that race? How did you feel?
I feel good. I feel good again. Very, very hard track. So for keep the pace and not did a mistake, it's very difficult.
Yeah, and we saw maybe a little bit of a moment for you early on in the race at the final corner. What happened there?
I lose my my rear of the car. And I want to translate my car in the way, so I give a point in the car, and I broke the wall and everything. You see that.
Yeah, and it lost you at the time for that first place. And, well, we have to come on to the big story coming into this one. Yourself and Brioni at turn 10 could be a deciding factor in this one. But just your thoughts on that one.
Very, very nice battle with Brioni. Very, very nice. Me respectful Brioni. Brioni don't respect me, but referees. I think 10 seconds is not justified. I want more, but if referees decide 10 seconds, so okay, it's cool. But I turn into here. I passed Brioni, and he tapped me on my rear of the car, and I broke the wall.
Yeah, and obviously that will be investigated by the stewards. But another podium for you this season. That's a big congratulations. And of course, we will try and confirm those results later on in this race. In the meantime, Edwin, the floor is yours for any shout outs to any sponsors, any friends and family.
Yes, I congratulate my second I can rank my podium at my team H3 Racing on the all driver sim racer recognize me in YouTube on all platform. Hello.
Hello, indeed. And thank you very much, Red Wire. Congratulations on your podium. And we look forward to seeing you for that championship finale next week at the Nürburgring. And Jake, I hand it back over to you.
Absolutely. I've managed to find Tiziano Brioni here down in the paddock. Now, Tiziano, the important thing is with about 5 minutes to go, there was a little bit of contact, which has resulted in the penalty. How does your side of the story look then in terms of that incident?
I think that when you dive bomb some people, maybe this can happen, basically.
Short and succinct, but in terms of how you got into that position, it was a pretty good qualifying from you up into third position, and just a case of maybe a few rivals making a couple of mistakes, and also very unlucky. How unlucky would you say that Hamadou Akizi was today to have a disconnect halfway through the race?
Yeah, a little bit lucky, but I have to say that when some drivers are so slow in qualifying and ruin other qualifying, maybe it's correct to let pass by, because it's the second time that the Lexus guy that turn around 5 seconds lower block my qualifying 2 times in one qualifying. I think that is not acceptable.
Well, you look now towards the Nürburgring. It might be a case where championship over, but still a chance to try and maybe fight for a second win on paper, third win overall if things stay exactly how they are in terms of the stewards' decisions.
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
So in terms of now you looking to the Nürburgring, is it now just a case of just trying to stamp your authority on the rest of the season and say that you had the ability to go out there and win races?
So what I can say, I think that in Nürburgring we can do a good result, but obviously 2 races ruined by Akizi, so can imagine.
Well, before we let you go here, Tiziano, shout out sponsors, anyone you'd like to thank.
Yeah, I want to thank MB Racewear that provide us our shirts. Trustmaster that sponsored us, and most of that is our main sponsor, and so that's all.
Tiziano Brioni there, coming home with the race win over the checkered flag, but we still wait to see whether that result is going to be changed or not. Third place, though, is under no dispute. Jack Noller got that one, stood by with Kieran.
Yes, Jack, a great battle between you and a certain green Ferrari for that third place there. Just talk us through your race, because we didn't see a lot of you out there. How did it go?
Well, again, qualified P4. It's a difficult position at the start. Unfortunately, caught up in that melee at the start, got quite a bit of damage, fell a few places, but kept it in a straight line. That's the important thing. Then it was damage management. Picked my way through the grid, following teammate. He, fortunately for me, unfortunately for him, drove off the track. And then it was following home in the Ferrari. I could see I was stronger on the brakes, but because of the damage, I was nowhere in a straight line, so I knew I had to get creative. Don't know if it was picked up on stream or not, but I felt it was quite a mega move going into the first corner of the last sector, the horseshoe. I don't know its official name, but that went to the inside, got the move done. But by then, my left tyres were a bit dead and under pressure, so couldn't quite pull away. So it was defend, but defend by driving on the racing line and driving fast for the rest of the race. Good fun. Unfortunate for others who have disconnects and incidents further ahead, but I've experienced a lot of those myself, and sometimes you get unlucky, sometimes you get lucky. Today was a bit of both for me, but I managed to keep it on the track and get third place.
Yeah, we definitely saw that move you did on Jimmy into turn 1 there, so that'll be a one to watch back for sure. But third podium of this season, you head into the last round now in that championship battle. How do you rate your chances going towards that German track?
Well, I guess we'll hear from Masoud, who I assume is leading the championship, in a minute, in a second. So, yeah, Masoud, I was generally a bit quicker at the moment. I maybe will be able to put a bit more time into it because exams are a bit much at university, but we'll see going into the final round. A lot better position than I was expecting to be, especially after round one, where it looked like the guys at the front would just walk away, but I managed to generally keep my nose clean, which has been quite an important part of the championship, and go for moves and choose when not to go for moves and sensible decisions. So I've enjoyed it so far, and definitely going to put up a fight in Nürburgring. We'll see what car we all pick, because it's a very different track to this one, where you can not overtake easily, but overtake a lot easier around here than Zandvoort. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Great stuff. And Jack, it's been a pleasure, but I'll hand over to you now for any shout outs, any sponsors, any friends of family. Floor's yours.
So shout out to our sponsors at RPM Esports of GT Omega, Gaming Mortar, as well as HyperX, and yourselves at World Pro Racing. Obviously mum and dad watching as well. So yeah, good result again. We'll see what happens with the first and second place, because obviously something went on there. Nearly caught him on track, but maybe depending on what happens, I might get up to second. Who knows? But good result to get on the podium after today, and thank you yourselves as well for the broadcast and hosting the event.
Well, thank you very much, Jack, and I'm going to hand it back now over to Jake, who I think has got a bit of big news on the stories.
I certainly have here, ladies and gentlemen, and the news is coming in from the chief stewarding team, of course, Adrian Fagayo and George Muscat, FIA accredited stewards who've had a look at the results. It is confirmed that Tiziano Brioni has been demoted down to P2 in this race. The race win will go to Redouane Messaoud out there and overall. So Tiziano Brioni finishes second in this race after the penalties from the stewards, and I'm sure there will be a lot of discussions that will be going on well on into the night. But in terms of from us here, there's been a massive team behind the scenes working to get this done, from the likes of Justin Nathan Mifsud, who have been out there on the cameras, from, of course, Kieran McGinley, who's been alongside me, myself, Jake Sperry, and all of the sponsors that you see down below here, who have been a huge factor in terms of powering the areas that we have to take this broadcast over to you. And of course, for those who have brought so much more onto the table as well, we've been streaming live on YouTube, on Twitch, and on Facebook Live as well. We have been on ESTV, the Esports Television Network, TVM Sport, and to motorsport.tv as well. My name's Jake Sperry, and this has been another contentious race in the championship. It smiles all around at Ashtoire, but that's only part of the story. The Nürburgring is a very difficult circuit, one which many a driver has fallen foul of in the past. This is a huge, huge moment, though, and this is going to be the defining point of this season, mark my words. We're going to look at highlights on how everything made this massive cauldron of racing, but from us here, we'll see you in a week.